Hey guys, welcome to the show. There's Jimbo,
Hey, welcome back. Another episode of Rockin da Grill.
as we say in Cajun country. How's your como se va, bruh?
If I knew what that was, I'd answer you.
that means that. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, bruh. So today's show, we I picked the musical artists group and the recipe, and today we're going to be talking about Rush, which unfortunately is one of the bands in my whole life I've never seen live. but
Oh,
but have just admired their music for many reasons, not just their rock and roll beat and ingenuity into like whether it's the Neil Peart drumming with the gong and the chimes and just all the little things that he put into his music, but the poetic side of Neil Geddy and the lyrics.
he was the ultimate lyricist. He was an avid book reader. He knew all the big words.
He knew all the big words,
And
right?
he can make them rhyme.
So if you were to say or pick their number one best selling song, what would that be out of all their musical career?
As far as commercially successful, I'd have to go with Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
You know,
So
everybody knows.
with that being said, let's give them a little taste of that. All right.
Love by right body, maybe as inside, all white.
All right, man. I mean, dude, what a way to start your day, bro. I mean, Tom Sawyer, you kidding me? I mean, how many times have you been in traffic and that song come on the radio and you just do the air drum, the solo?
Well, of course, you got it. And now it's time for T-Guid to sing along.
Well, I can sing, but I don't know if you want to hear me sing, bruh. Oh man, what a great song! I mean, so Rush. I mean, they originated out of Toronto, Canada, right?
Canadian rockers.
Yeah, Canadian, eh? Yeah, they like hockey.
How many Canadian bands can you name off the top of your head right now?
Oh my gosh, Rush, off the top of my head. I know you're gonna say two or three more, and I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I should have known that.
Yeah, remember Triumph?
Oh, Triumph, yeah.
Triumph, Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams, of course.
Turns out Canadians have talent too.
Yeah, they have no government, but they got talent.
Yeah, those are the only three off the top of my head I can think of.
Yeah, they got free health care. They have it for years. So, not getting political. So, we're going to be talking Rush. We're going to be talking one of my favorite go-to football foods. It's football season, and everybody loves a good chicken wing. I just came off of a little road trip up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where we did this little honey butter Cajun wing, and everybody kept saying, "What kind of sauce is that?" No sauce. It's a basting sauce, but it's not a sauce.
Well,
But
I'm curious to hear this one.
No, yeah, well, a lot of people wanted the recipe, and it's so simple. So hope you guys like it. We're going to talk about that. Jim, you picked up that acoustic, and we were talking before the program. I was hoping you're going to do some more of that, because that's what this show is all about, bro. It's about showing off your talents and talking about all the different things that we got to talk about. So now, talking about your talent, you not only play the guitar, but in the band that you play with up in Baton Rouge, the Drunk Uncles, you play bass.
I play bass mostly. Then we do a lot of acoustic gigs where I play six string. We do sometimes we do jam nights at the local watering hole, and I try to make my rounds around the whole stage.
Right.
In the albums I put out, the last couple in the last few years, I play and sing everything on them. Everyone makes a big deal about Wolfie Van Halen. Yeah, whatever. I do the same thing. I just don't have a famous dad.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure you do. They just don't know him yet, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, the Drunk Uncles, tell me more about how you hooked up with those guys.
Oh man, well those guys we've been playing about 2.5 years now. I kind of burned out heavily on playing live. I played my whole life growing up in LA, and I lost most of my gigs to DJs out there. And I just kind of stopped playing, and I put my attention to making albums in my home studio. And that's what I did for, I don't know, before a couple of years ago. That's what I had done for the last several years.
Right.
And then I met these guys online somehow. People ask all the time, "How'd you meet?" We really don't remember. It was probably a jam night, magic of Facebook. Who knows? One of these Baton Rouge musician pages.
I kind of remember the story. I mean, you know, you just showed up on a gig night
Yeah,
where they
I
were
got a call.
practicing.
Yeah, it was the singer, the main band leader, Uncle Neil. He got a gig. It was St. Patty's Day a couple years back, and he had no band. And he just started putting out the call. He's like, "Hey, man, can you make it?" "Sure. When's the gig?" Tomorrow." Oh, so we totally winged it. And to this day, I think officially we've had one full band rehearsal, but we've actually got 15 guys in the rotation because
Yeah.
a lot of us are working weekends, traveling, doing whatever.
So it's a gumbo. I mean,
It's
you interchange parts as you go.
it's a gumbo. Our fearless leader, Neil Ray, he makes the call at the beginning of every week, who's available.
Yeah.
And we just show up, you get the song list, and we roll with it. And it's been working. We'd be really good if we rehearsed.
Yeah, but I've heard y'all. I mean, I've seen videos of y'all because your lovely wife is probably one of your largest fans, and I dig that. I mean, I just love that she just loves you as a musician, as a person. Yeah. Hey, so where do y'all gig? I mean, y'all gig around Baton Rouge. I know y'all played in Biloxi a couple times.
Yeah, we're mostly. I mean, we're based in Baton Rouge, so we do a lot of Baton Rouge area stuff. But we'll go anywhere.
Yeah. Have guitar. We'll travel.
That's it.
Yeah, the money's good enough. So, hey, look, Rush, getting back to Rush. Probably first heard of Rush when I was in high school. A friend of mine, I kind of told you a little bit about this story. His name was Pat Flatt. I want to have his brother on because John Flatt, at some time in his career, he was in LA about the same time you were in LA. And I told you the name of his group at the time was Native Tongue. Mm-hmm. And I think you remember maybe seeing them. Maybe
it sounds familiar. Maybe it's just because I'm a big Poison fan, and that was the name of one of their albums. But
yeah, well, familiar. I mean, they almost made it big, and as the story goes, you know, they were trying to find a contract, you know, with a record label, and they've been, you know, as most musicians, they get kind of the raw end of the deal, and they got screwed a couple times, and so they were very suspicious when this guy came calling on them after a concert, after a little gig, and he said, "Man, I think y'all are great. I think we're gonna sign y'all. We'd love to sign y'all." And you know, John was kind of like the main guy in the band, and they kind of got together as a band. They're like, "I don't know, yeah, maybe we need to sign." John's like, "I think we need to pass, man. This guy seems like a flake." And as the story goes, he signed the next talent that he came across, and his name was Kid Rock.
You might have heard of him.
You may have heard of him. So I want to have John on the show because I think between you two telling stories about, I mean, they struggled, man. They struggled. You know, it was definitely an artist life in LA, eating ramen noodles and just sleeping on the concrete and just kind of gigging but you know, he ended up pretty good. It's
such a common story, and I've seen it and lived it and heard it 100 times. Everyone in LA, especially in the mid to late 80s, everyone was about to get signed. We were going to be the next big thing. You know, everyone's lived through it. And very few of those people squeaked out of there. And even fewer of those are still around today. So it was quite a time. But yeah, a lot of guys didn't realize in advance means you got to pay that back.
It's a needle in a haystack effect. Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, going back to John, his brother, Pat Flatt, who God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but he was the guy. He was that friend that you had that was always hip to all the new stuff that was coming down the pike that you never heard of. And I remember we had a place called the Barn where we used to go party. My dad had some horses, and we had a little barn and a big barn. Big barn was for the horses. The little barns were for the guys, and we go in there. We had a music setup, a stereo setup, and Pat we'd turn out the lights, and Pat would just be like hovering over us doing like air guitar and to Rush and Motley Crue and Rat, and I mean all those hair bands. And but Rush, Pat, I'd like to say Pat exposed me to Rush, and what a great group. Like I said, I was inspired by their music as a poet, because I know you wouldn't think of me as a guy who loves poetry, but I love poetry. I like writing poetry. I like reading poetry. And I think poetry resembles music. It's basically a poet set to music, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So coming soon, the new theme song, when it gets finalized, it's the first song that I've collaborated on. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
You wrote the lyrics.
I did.
And it is the first original song I've recorded that I actually collaborated on. Usually I've always done it just myself.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow.
I'm
honored to be associated with Jimbo Haas, bro. Hostile, Haas Rock. So getting back to Pat and Rush, I mean, the lyrics move me. I think the one song, I mean, Tom Sawyer, I just love to rock it. I love to rock to it. I could be in my car. I could be having a bad day. You put on Tom Sawyer. It just makes you happy, bro. I mean, you just rock. But the one song that moved me was how you pronounce it? Red Bershetta.
I'm gonna go with that.
I never really knew for sure. It's a car, and it's if you listen to the lyrics, it's moving. I mean, it's talking about his grandfather, and he had this old car, and out in the barn and in the fields, and he took it out for a spin, and it's just, I don't know, I love it. I can listen to that song over and over and over again.
And that's an interesting bit of songwriting, because the name of the song is never even mentioned in the song.
Right. Never. Never.
Which is why no one knows how to say it, really.
It's like their song. I looked it up. Was it YYZ?
All right.
Yeah, YYZ. I mean, it's an instrumental. There's no lyrics to it. And I looked it up because I love the song. It's all instrumental. And you know what YYZ, where they got that from?
To play it. Now I could just do the intro.
That's it. I mean, they have keyboards, they have synthesizer, they have all that stuff in there. But you know where the YYZ came from?
That I do not know.
Interesting trivia question. I didn't know either. I had to look at. I googled that. We say googled that.
You got the Google.
Yeah, it's actually the acronym for the Toronto airport, like Lafayette's LFT, Baton Rouge is, I'm sure, BTR or BRT or whatever. It's the Toronto airport. And the video, when you watch the video, it's all about the airport. People coming from the airport, leaving the airport. I have no idea why they did that or why they named it that, but it's a great song nonetheless.
Yes, it is. I used to play that, and that's a lot of notes, and I have long since forgotten. There's no way.
Limelight?
Oh man, it's been too long. Tom Sawyer's the only one I brushed up on, because I knew we'd be hitting that for sure.
Number one song, bro. I think they had like 3 or maybe 4 number one on the Billboard rock charts in their career.
Which is really impressive for a power trio doing this progressive kind of rock stuff, because that's not, it's not for everyone.
Right. It's almost like
it's not easy to do.
It's almost like yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. All you young rockers out there, if you haven't heard the group Yes, you gotta look that up. A lot of keyboards and synthesizers and piano, and it's just awesome.
And I can't believe you never got to see him live.
Dude, I never got to see him live. Neil Peart, I mean, he passed away of cancer, and just never had the opportunity. I mean, or maybe my mom and dad said, hell no, you're not going.
Yeah, I saw him twice. It was unbelievable. And I mean, you just talk about the noise that these 3 guys make, and a lot of that is Geddy. When he's not playing bass, he's playing keyboard. But when he's playing bass, he's playing keyboards with his feet. And a lot of people don't know that. But watch the live videos, you'll see his feet they're always on a key. Mm-hmm. He's got like a little foot pedal piano down there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, So let's get into the recipe. We'll come back to Russia a little bit later.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what I would ask if I met them? What would I ask them?
How do you cook honey butter chicken wings?
That's right.
Cajun wings. That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So basically, when I went shopping, I was shopping with some other guys that were doing some grilling, and they were like, "You doing the whole wing? Why are you doing the whole wing, dude? Grilling is so much work. Why put more work on your table, bro? You know, I mean, if you're doing the drumettes and the flats, I mean, that's that many more pieces you got to flip and move and baste and sauce and all that other season.
Yeah.
So I do the whole chicken wing, and if I can't find them, I'll move on to something else, because I will not cook chicken parts like in a wing. I have to cook the whole wing. So basically, I like to go with like a 12-pack or double that if you have a lot of people coming over for the football game, because trust me, they'll all be gone by the end of the game, or by halftime, actually. But you can start out with 24 chicken wings, and I just lay them out in the pan. I generously season them with
Xtra Cajun?
Of course, Xtra Cajun, because Xtra Cajun is not only a good pot and pan gumbo, fricassee, stew, jambalaya, etouffee type recipe, season all. It's an excellent barbecue rub. And why is it an excellent barbecue rub? Because it has all the ingredients that all the good barbecue rubs has, including dehydrated light brown sugar, just a touch. And people ask me, they say, "Man, why you put that in a Cajun seasoning? You don't put sugar in a seasoning for Cajun food." And I'm like, "Well, you don't think the vegetables that you cook in has sugar in it? You don't think the proteins have sugar? Onions, corn, that's all. That's a lot of sugar." So
yeah, I can attest
don't worry
it goes on anything.
Yeah, don't,
everything.
And that was the amazing thing, is that we weren't counting on that. It was just kind of like a gift from above, because I had a lot of competition guys that bought my seasoning, and they tried it on ribs and chicken before I even did. And they said, "Keith, you on to something, bro. I mean, this is some good stuff." So basically, you season it real generously. I don't coat it with a binder, because naturally it's going to stick. Most of it's going to stick to the chicken, because it's going to be kind of moist, and the skin is real soft and everything. But if you want to put a binder, you can put, like what you were talking about in the earlier show, olive oil, avocado oil. You can put mustard if you want. I don't. I just season it real good.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the binder. I'm very hyper focused on binders right now, because I got 100 different opinions and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with the seasoning sticking to chicken. Other proteins, yeah, but not chicken. So I season it real generously. And when I say generously, one of the good things about Xtra Cajun is low sodium, and it has a 4-pepper blend, but it's not overly like hot. I don't think Cajun food should be so hot you can't enjoy it. I think you should taste the pepper, feel the pepper, but it should be just a part of the flavor.
That's marketing.
Yeah, not the dominant, not the dominant feature. That's why we came out with it, because there's a lot of Cajun seasons that are just way too salty or way too hot. So anyway, now my grill of choice when I'm doing this in my backyard is a charcoal grill. However, when I do a lot of my demos and stuff, Jim and I, we cook on a lot of gas grills, and you can actually get the same results, if not as good, if not better, on a gas grill, because you taste more of the flavor. There's not as much smoke flavor, but you got the wood flavor, but you got a lot of flavor nonetheless.
Yeah, a lot of times we're out traveling doing these demos, and we're at the mercy of whatever they got for us, and it's usually gas.
Yeah, it's usually gas.
Make it work.
Yeah, we work with what we got. So I normally, if it's a gas grill, I start with all my burners on low, and I put them directly on the grill. I put them right side up, meaning the chicken wing has an upside and a downside. So I put it where the upside, the meat side's facing up on the flat, and I just kind of get a good sear on it on low, and I leave them on there for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and I check them. And when I get a good line from the grill marks, I flip them, and then after I flip them, I close the lid and I let them go another 5 to 10 minutes, get a good little sear on it. Now, this is what you need to know about chicken wings. You don't have to cook them that long. because there's not a lot of meat, and it's not a thick piece of meat. But you do want to get them to like 165, 170 internal temperature. Just be careful if you're checking it with an instant read thermometer, you don't hit the bone where you're going to get a false reading. And then when you serve them to your friends, they're still raw in the middle.
Yeah, then you got medium rare chicken. That's never a good thing.
Salmonella is not something you want to be spreading around to you. So after I get a good sear on both sides, I put them up on the warming rack. So if your grill doesn't have a warming rack, just turn one of the burners off and set them indirect, the way you got your direct heat, but your wings are off to the side over an unlit burner, which we call indirect cooking, and just finish them off there. Now, while that's continued to cook, you take a small pan or a cast iron skillet, small cast iron skillet, whatever you have, and you put 2 sticks of butter and equal portions of whatever your local honey is. I mean, everybody says, what kind of honey you like? Whatever's local. Like we have Carmichael's honey. It's very, very good honey. But whatever you got locally, and you just squeeze it until you're looking like you got about the same amount of butter and honey in the basting pan or in the skillet. And then you let it melt and you stir it and you let it marry up. I normally throw in a little bit of extra Cajun on top of that and mix that in with the basting sauce. And then while they're up after everything's melted and you have it up on the warming rack or you have it indirect, I start basting it. And when I say basting it, you just want to put it very heavily over the meat side, and then you can let that cook, close the lid, let it cook for a little while, flip them and baste the other side. I normally do that 2 or 3 times, Jim. And then at the very end, before I'm ready to pull them off, when I hit my internal temperature, when I know they're done and I know they're ready to come off the grill, I'll put them back over the direct fire, and all that butter and that honey starts to caramelize. Oh, yeah. And it don't take long. I mean, don't leave,
don't get distracted at that phase.
People say, man, why you cook so good? I think because I sobered up about 35 years ago. And one of the problems I think people have with cooking is they lose their time management because of the alcohol.
That's real easy to do.
They get distracted too easy
to do.
Yeah, but you'll have that internal clock. The more you cook, the more you smell something that's not right, or you see black smoke coming out the back of the grill, which ain't good on a gas grill. You know when to check your food, and so you just let it sear for a couple of minutes on both sides, and then you pull them off, and they're done. And then if you want to serve them individually at that point, because the joints are so easy to break, I normally take the drumette and the flat, and I just lay it on the chopping block and just fold it out, crack that joint, and just take a sharp knife and just whack it one time, and I put them in the pan. So if you want to serve them that way, don't buy them that way, serve them that way. Just cut them up and serve them later.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to try this.
Dude, I'm telling you, it will be one of your new go-tos at these demos, because everybody loves them. I mean, who doesn't love a good chicken wing?
Yeah, right. And I will say too, with especially with chicken, but anything really, make sure you got your grates well seasoned out there. You don't want your chicken sticking and losing half of it, and turning to ash and burning off in the bottom of your firebox. Seasoned grates are so important, and that could be a whole nother topic one day too. But this is the thing we hear all the time: is how do you keep your chicken from sticking to the grates? You got to be well seasoned.
Got to be well seasoned. And another thing that people don't realize is that even a well seasoned grill or a well seasoned skillet, if you're cooking in a cast iron pot or any kind of pot, even a stainless steel pot and pan, once you throw your protein on the grill, it's probably, even if it's seasoned well, it's probably going to stick a little bit, because that's just the nature of the beast. The sear marks that you get on a steak, on a chicken, on a pork chop are basically the protein releasing from the grill. It's burning off the grill if your grill's hot enough. So if you go to flip a hamburger, you go to flip a chicken wing or a chicken breast or whatever, and you grab it with the tongs and you kind of lifting it up and it's sticking to the grill, hey, leave it alone. Just close the lid, let it go a little bit longer, give it about another minute, and come back.
It'll let you know when it's time to flip it. It'll release.
I guarantee you, it'll freak you out, because you'll go back the next time when it's released and it'll just come right off the grill.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I get a lot of comments on a lot of my YouTube videos about, man, you think you'd clean your grill if you. I was like, that's not a dirty grill. That's a well-seasoned grill.
That's called love, bro. And down here we call that some love, bro.
Yeah.
You just want to burn off all the grimons, bro. So
Yeah.
you want to preheat your grill on high and burn off all that old stuff, because if you hadn't used your grill in a while, you might have some bacteria, you might have some mildew, mold.
Hey, burn it off.
Just burn it off. Get you a good grill brush, knock it off, let it cook down, and then come back. And I normally take a paper towel with a little bit of olive oil on it, and I just wipe off until I get most of that black stuff where my paper towel is not black as much. So
yeah,
you ain't gonna get it all.
I'm sure you've heard people too ask you, how do you get your grates back to factory silver? And then you just want to explain life in a civilized manner.
Oh, you're one of those people. Well, you can put them in the dishwasher if it's 304 stainless steel, but just be careful. But I mean, the only way you're going to get it back to like bare metal is, burn it off like an oven, set it on high, close your lid. When you stop seeing smoke come out the back of the grill, you've pretty much taken all the grease and you've turned it into a carbon.
Yeah.
So there's no more liquid grease. If you let it go another 30 minutes to an hour, if you ever did the self-cleaning feature on your oven, it'll turn gray. So it'll be like fly ash. We call it fly ash. And then literally you just kind of rub it off and it'll just blow right off. So, but
really you don't want that.
No, you can actually, after you get the carbon and it's just black char, there's no liquid. And you really want to get it clean, get you a cordless drill, some safety goggles, probably an apron, and put it on a table with some cordboard so it doesn't shift around, and just get you one of them wire wheels and just kind of polish it out. I mean, it'll be blue, it'll be discolored, but you can get most of that grease off that way.
Yeah, if you must. If you want to get rid of your flavor.
Yeah, I know, but that's the love, baby. Don't do that. Yeah. So let's get back to Rush. We're at the 27 minute mark. So man, this is going fast.
I know it
guys. Full disclosure, we're trying to keep these down to 15, 20 minutes because we know y'all are busy. They got things to do, but yeah, it's just hard. There's so much we want to talk about.
It is. We keep talking about one thing, it goes into another, and I can't tell you already in 2 episodes how many times we've said, well, that could be a whole nother episode.
And it will be. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. So back to Rush. Are they still touring? I don't even know if they're still touring. Do they have a new drummer?
No, they've hinted at maybe here or there, but I think it's always been the 3 of them. Well, Neil Peart's not the original drummer, but right. I mean, everybody knows that lineup, and I think once he passed, I can see them doing maybe a one-off, maybe a big benefit somewhere with I don't know.
Well, they did. I think they did some with South Park the cartoon, but it was that the drummer, when the drummer from the Foo Fighters passed away. I think they had a big.
But I can see like Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater. He would probably be the guy to do that if they were going to do something. That would be the drummer. He's pretty technical like that, but. Yeah, I don't see them really doing full-blown tours or getting back together. And it was such a special lineup that they had, and a special, very unique sound.
Totally
Nobody else sounds like Rush.
Totally agree. And I think if you're a young kid and you're coming up and you're wanting to play the drums, I think Neil Peart is probably the most duplicated. Like, they want to learn those solos, they want to learn them licks. Yeah. I mean, to me. I don't know if he invented it, but I know he perfected the cymbal choke. I mean, where you grab it, to muffle it.
Yep.
Dude, it's just awesome. So hey, look, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Go on your patio this weekend. Put some Rush on, some Tom Sawyer, or whatever your favorite Rush song is. Get you some wings. Get you some Xtra Cajun, and make you some honey butter. Xtra Cajun chicken wings for your family. I guarantee you'll put a smile on their face, and it'll be asked for many, many years.
I'm going to do it myself. Can't wait.
Jimbo, hey, look, I love you, brother, and enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time, guys, on Rockin da Grill. I got to find our exit. Where is it at?
Where is it at?
Y'all going to like this. We're going to jam. You jam along with us.
All right, what are we playing?
Well, the exit song. Right?
Oh, that song. Okay.
Yeah.